Recently, I came across some striking photos. Let me share them with you. They are Cambodian Buddhist monks marching in the streets, showing support for President Trump to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. At first glance, it looked surreal. According to reports, Cambodian Prime Minister himself nominated Trump, and supposedly as many as 70,000 monks in his country voiced their support. But when I saw it, something felt off. They don't look right to me. Think about it. Buddhist teachings forbid monks from engaging in politics. And it's not just any country, it's Cambodia, one of Beijing's closest proxy states. What are the odds that so many monks there would openly rally for an American president under today's tense geopolitical climate without Beijing's fingerprints on it? To me, it looked staged, organized, and very suspicious. But I couldn't quite figure out why until today. That's when Professor Yuan Hongbin, the Chinese dissident in Australia, dropped a bombshell that suddenly made everything click. And according to Yuan, this wasn't just Xi Jinping's idea. It's an overall strategy that involves Sino-US relations and Taiwan. CCP's strategy in Taiwan also involves Putin. And the entire story was also tied to the protagonist today, Liu Jianchao. Suddenly, the pieces connected. The monks chanting for Trump, Liu Jianchao's sudden downfall, and the deadlock in the Russia-Ukraine ceasefire talks, where Putin keeps playing hardball. It all lines up. So according to Professor Yuan's contacts in Beijing, cross-checked with multiple sources, the investigation into Liu Jianchao, the man you see on the screen, who is the minister of the CCP's International Liaison Department, is directly tied to a major political conspiracy. At the heart of it, Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin working together to deceive Donald Trump. So the ILD is CCP's frontline unit for party diplomacy. Its job is to reach beyond governments and infiltrate political parties worldwide, social democrats, workers' parties, and other left-leaning groups. After Trump won a second term, the ILD's Policy Research Office delivered a secret report to the CCP Politburo. This report laid out their guiding principles for how to run United Front operations on Trump. According to the ILD's secret report, which they issued after Trump won the second term, their United Front principle for Western politicians was simple: use money and women as bait. Make the stakes high enough that saying no would be embarrassing. And 9 times out of 10, it worked. But when they tried to apply that principle to Trump, the analyst concluded money wouldn't move him. Women wouldn't either. At his age, the attraction was limited. The one thing they believed would truly tempt him was honor. According to them, in the Western eyes, few honors shine brighter than the Nobel Peace Prize. That, the report said, was the golden key. If they could stoke Trump's desire for the Nobel, wrap it in a careful strategy, and make him believe it was within reach, they could push him to change U.S. policy. Most importantly, they could use it to make him trade away ground on Taiwan. So, in short, the CCP's plan was to dangle the Nobel Peace Prize as the ultimate bait to manipulate Trump on Taiwan. And that brings us back to Cambodia. Those 70,000 monks marching for Trump's Nobel nomination, that wasn't a grassroots movement. I mean, I smelled something fishy immediately. It couldn't be, right? It was a stage-managed CCP operation from the start. So according to these insiders, Trump's strategic attempt to broker a Russia-Ukraine ceasefire in order to split Russia from its alliance with the CCP regime has very little chance of success. That's the view of the Chinese political elite. So we know President Trump's plan right now is stuck. His idea was to push for a Russia-Ukraine ceasefire, peel Putin away from Xi Jinping, and then concentrate American power against Beijing. But that hasn't worked so far because Beijing is actively backing Putin. Putin even floated the idea of China serving as one of the guarantors in any post-war peace deal. Ukraine, we know, rejected it outright. But as Professor Yuan points out, that proposal itself is proof of the no-limits partnership between Putin and Xi. So according to Yuan's sources, at the core of the Xi Jinping-Putin pact lies a dangerous bargain. The CCP has agreed to back Russia's effort to reclaim all of the former Soviet Union's European territories, including the 3 Baltic states. And for the former Soviet republics in Central Asia, the plan is even darker: joint administration, effectively co-rule by Beijing and Moscow. In return, Russia has pledged to fully support Beijing when it moves on Taiwan. So Beijing insiders or Chinese insiders believe that even if Russia and Ukraine reach a ceasefire, no matter the terms, Trump would still fail in his bigger goal of splitting the Russia-CCP axis. Worse, if Trump were to help Putin impose a humiliating ceasefire on Ukraine, so if that were to happen, it would shatter trust between the U.S. and Europe and expose divisions within NATO. That fracture is exactly what Putin and Xi Jinping are hoping for, and it explains why Putin has been so difficult to negotiate with. So Professor Yuan Hongbin highlighted what Putin said at the Alaska summit on August the 15th. I don't know if this is the exact quote, but he said, if you had been the U.S. president, the Russia-Ukraine war would never have happened. Now, interestingly, Xi Jinping once told Trump something eerily similar, that as long as you are president of the United States, I will never invade Taiwan. So Professor Yuan said that here you have 2 dictators, 2 promises, both designed to lure Trump with the same bait: support Russia's terms in Ukraine and endorse peaceful reunification of Taiwan, and they will back him for the Nobel Peace Prize. So here's the question: will Trump fall into that trap? Professor Yuan's answer is blunt. He said it's no. He said no, he won't. There has been so much media noises about Trump wanting a Nobel Peace Prize that it's being blown out of proportion. And some of it may even have been orchestrated by Beijing. However, recently, when asked on Fox about his motivation to end the Russia-Ukraine war, President Trump replied that he wanted to boost his chances of going to heaven. So what should Trump do if he really wants to help Russia and Ukraine cease fire, right? I think he needs to change his strategy. Trying to push either Russia or Ukraine into a ceasefire is too difficult, and it won't split the Moscow-Beijing alliance, in my opinion. It will only prolong the conflict. The smarter move is to go after the root of the problem, which is Xi Jinping. Without China's support, the war would have ended long ago. Think about it. If Xi Jinping falls, Russia loses its only reliable backer, and the war would quickly come to an end. The alliance would collapse. So the Trump administration should seize the opportunity created by the power struggles inside the CCP right now. Xi Jinping's rivals in the party are not interested in an alliance with Moscow. This alliance, no limits partnership with Putin, is a Xi Jinping's trademark. So his political enemies are far more inclined toward the West. So President Trump should take advantage of that. Forcing Xi Jinping to back down is much easier than forcing Putin at this moment, especially given Xi Jinping's fragile standing inside the party. So Trump can also use the tariffs to force the CCP to yield. So the message to the Trump administration is clear. As long as Xi Jinping remains in power, you won't convince Putin to stop the war. Don't waste time trying to sweet-talk Putin into a ceasefire. He won't agree as long as his best buddy, still runs Beijing. The key to peace in Ukraine, well, actually not just in Ukraine, in both Ukraine and the Pacific, lies in China, lies in Beijing. So apply pressure there, break Xi Jinping's grip, and the rest will follow. It's much faster and much easier